Welcome to Coffee with Joe for December 1st,
Pete,
2011. It's a
some of the,
Thursday. Joe, it's been a long time. 3 months since we did a Coffee with Joe.
I
We
know,
had a lot of
yeah.
problems with making the Skype videos, and the quality was really horrible in the last couple Coffee with Joes, so we apologize for that. And we're back.
Hopefully,
We're back for now. And this is our first Coffee with Joe in the post Occupy Wall Street era, Joe. In fact,
right?
it's our first Coffee with Joe since the annual American Monetary Conference in Chicago, which was the last weekend of September. You went to that. I didn't make it this year, Joe, just as Occupy Wall Street was starting to come on the scene.
Right.
What did
The,
you, how did that interaction go?
the interaction between them, us and that movement was not very much, Pete, to be honest with you. Chicago is one of the Federal Reserve Bank centers. There's a regional bank there. Several of us, unofficially from the conference went down and spent some time there. Some of us a couple of times. So we spent time with them. We tried to help them out. I spent time just walking up and down the street with a poster like everybody else. So that was pretty much it. We were, of course, the days are very very full. At the conference, even the evenings are pretty full, Pete.
Yep.
So there was not a lot of free time, but what free time we did have there on Sunday, we did go down, spend with them. Some of us did anyway, and it was really good because to me the vitality, the fact that people are so feeling somewhat betrayed, Pete, by what's going on in the world right now compared to the world that they learned about, when they went to school and when they got out into the real world, that they are, feeling the need to, peaceably assemble and to bring, some petition of redress to their government. They're having a little problem getting their petition of redress formulated exactly, Pete. But I have seen versions, I guess maybe let's say from different Occupy movements that do include, Pete, taking a look at the structure of the Federal Reserve itself, which is a big part of the monetary system, and that's an important thing, Pete.
So, Joe, when you just go up to somebody on the street in a situation like that, where people are having a sense that there's some injustice, that it's there's somehow the system is rigged. How do you? But you have no reason to think they know anything about the money system, debt-based money system. How do you start getting the message out to them?
Well, I mean, there it was directly, it was to, let's say, for instance, they were handing out stuff, and I was taking their stuff and reading it, and then I said, okay, I got it. I see what you're saying is wrong. What you're saying is wrong is wrong. How do you propose to fix it? You know, a lot of the times they say, well, we're not really sure. We just know that we need to change those things, and so then from there, okay, well, let's talk about what's the cause of each of these things. And a lot of times when you go down there, what you see, what I could call it, the misallocation of resources, you could harken back, Pete, the improper and lack of a priority use of the money supply. Okay. And so, therefore, to change to them and say what we really need to have is a proper and priority use of the money supply to provide for the masses instead of providing for the few. And if you can understand that, then you can understand the need to comprehend the workings, the architecture, the mechanics of the monetary system itself. And what is that? A private fractional reserve banked debt-based system of money, and which banks create and destroy money when they make loans and pay off loans, and at interest that's never created, thus creating the need to create more loans. And we end up in the situation that manifests itself, Pete, as too much debt. The debt saturation point, where we have passed the debt saturation point, and that's what I meant about being on life support, Pete. You know, where we haven't done really anything to uh, repair the body, that so that we could remove the life support. and 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 as a result, well, people seem to think that, well, we put 750 billion in TARP. Uh, Bernie Sanders seems to have found that we put 15 trillion or more, and or more into the financial system. That was actually the real money that really saved, everything. But it was temporary, but we're no farther along. We're no farther along. The fact is, there's still too much debt in the system. There's too much debt because we have a debt-based money system. And at some point, Pete, I really think that leaders will emerge, regardless of whether they want to be leaders or not. That's what happens. And those leaders will see that there is the import of the monetary system itself to repairing all of the injustice, to turning around the betrayal, in a way that, quite frankly, could provide the leadership to the Congress, that you expect from the Congress when they go there to be leaders. So, to me, the Occupy movement has a great potential, and it is essential. A movement like that is essential in order to actually undertake the radical, Pete. Because we do need to make radical reforms to the money system. And if we do that, the beauty of doing that, quite frankly, is what they called for in the Chicago Plan, Milton Friedman, is to save capitalism. It's not to destroy capitalism. It's to save capitalism, and it's to save the banking systems and have the banking systems go back to being the things that we want them to be. I admit that it is going to, in some way, wind down the shadow banking system, because that is not a system that, quite frankly, ought to be functioning. Nobody should be able to create demands on the national economy without producing something of real wealth. So there's going to be changes, Pete. I think the Occupy movement is in a good place to be a possible catalyst, for moving us in the direction of the NEED Act.
Now, Bernie Sanders has put together a team of supposedly liberal and progressive economists to help him come up with solutions. Is there reason to be hopeful for what's going on in there, Joe?
Only in the sense that Bernie's so active, about it, Pete. When you take a look at the group, they're all well-intentioned, Pete, but they all went to the same business school. You got Nobelists on there. You've got some pretty progressive economists, I would say. And there's even some, modern monetary theory people on there, Pete. So, the collective body is probably progressive thinking, but they're not able to get beyond fractional reserve banking. Quite frankly, Pete, it's just as simple as that. You can see that they all want to do the right thing, Pete, but they're just incapable of understanding that it's the debt-based money system itself that's the cause of the problem. It's fractional reserve banking itself that's the cause of the pro-cyclicality. And they act as if the crisis is brought about by few people behaving badly, and therefore what we need to do is, get those people out of it, restore some sanity like Glass-Steagall, to the regulatory regime, and we'll all be well and good. No, it's not going to solve the problem. It's never going to solve the problem at all. In fact, it might.
So making Bill Black Attorney General won't solve the problem?
Making him the Attorney General will get a lot of people in jail where they should be. What you really need is a Secretary of the Treasury and a head of the Public Money Administration that's capable of solving the problem, Pete. And so you need to have a public money administration. So therefore, you need to pass the Kucinich bill, really.